my ex-wife, got offered a job doing handling tour press for Bowie in 1987. So I would go out every week, and the first time I went out, I had no business being backstage with an all-access pass, and the only other person that was back there who didn't have anything to do before the show really was Bowie. It was David. So he and I just started talking, and we had this whole art school background, and I never said anything about playing guitar because that was never going to happen. It would have seemed opportunistic. The tour ended. He said to her, "Is there anything we can do for you to thank you for the work?" She gave him a tape that I had played on. She said, "Listen to this and let me know what you think." And 6 months later, we had moved to England because she had taken a job there, and the phone rings, and I was trying to get some work happening in England, and I'd gotten soaking wet that day. I'd just come home. The phone rang. I answered the phone, and I was like, "Who is it?" And then his voice goes, "Hi, it's David." And I was like, "Uh-huh." And he starts talking, and he says, "I listened to the tape Sarah gave me, and blah, blah, blah." And I had only told one person that David had gotten a tape of my playing, and it was this friend of mine who did this really bad Spinal Tap English accent. And I thought didn't sound like, in the context of living in London, David's accent didn't sound like a real English accent. So he goes, "I listened to the tape, blah, blah," and he goes, "You sound like the guitar player I've been looking for. Why didn't you tell me?" And I said, "All right, who the f*** is this?" And he said, "Remember we watched Fantasy Island in my dressing room? We turned the sound off and made up our own storyline, which we had done." And I was like, "Man, I'm sorry." And then a week later, he called me up and had me come over to his place in Switzerland for a weekend, and I ended up staying for a month, and we wrote a bunch of stuff that ended up being Tin Machine, and
Wow.
and the rest is public knowledge, I guess.